Hi everyone, Krzysztof the Polish Geek welcomes you to another video after like 10 days because yes, I've been away on a ski trip with my sister, niece and nephew. So yeah, I've been away for like a week and a half and expect a travel vlog of my trip to Val d'Isère very soon, but I've been away, but I managed to see the new Pixar movie Hoppers. And I have to say this movie is absolutely not what I expected it to be like. When I first saw the posters I thought, looks like a kids movie. And then when I saw the trailers I thought, oh my gosh, this looks so silly, so absurd. But I was actually pleasantly surprised when I saw the movie. And the first thing I gotta say, it's certainly much better than Elio. Although, admittedly, that's probably not a high bar to clear. And it's still certainly not the best movie, not the best Pixar movie of this decade. That still easily goes to Inside Out 2, followed by Soul. But I think that Hoppers now is tied with Luca as the third one. I'll probably have to see it a couple of more times before I decide if I prefer Hoppers or Luca. But yes, Hoppers was a very nice surprise. And another thing I have to say, this is actually quite interesting because if like a year ago, before Elio comes out, if I saw a poster for both Elio and Hoppers, like I would easily say Elio easily wins. Like there's no way I would ever prefer Elio than Hoppers. But sometimes first impressions wrong you, right? And this is a perfect example because once again, when I only saw the posters for Hoppers, I thought it looked like a generic kids movie about animals, and then when I saw the actual trailers, the concept sounded kind of absurd, but actual movie very much again surprised me. I mean, it is very crazy in many ways, but that's actually part of the charm of the movie, actually. And this is one of those movies where I think that the first half is quite different from the second half. And I think this is one of those movies where I can see lots of people saying that the first half is much better and some others saying the second half is better. I personally think that while I do think the second half is overall better, I do think the first half serves as a very nice setup for the second half, at least retroactively, because at first I thought that the first half seemed basically like a generic entertaining family movie. But then the second half, when it gets really unexpected and the story takes kind of a very unexpected turn and it starts getting real good and real entertaining and really enjoyable, and I was so engaged through and through. And the animation is also quite good. I wouldn't call it like among the best 3D animation, like there are still some 3D animated movies I say with a much better animation, like How to Train Your Dragon 3D Hidden World, certainly. Or Super Mario Bros. Movie for that matter, but I still think it was overall a really good animation, especially the scenes of the forest looked really good, and I loved the green scenery and all that. And I also thought that the movie had really nice positive messages for the kids, like there was an environmental message, which I thought was really nice, and what's also good is that the message in no way, shape or form overpowered the story of the movie, quite the opposite. If anything, it actually was very well integrated into the story and it ended up being a pretty positive message for the kids and families as a whole. And another message that I think is really important these days actually, that I would probably very much not expect from Disney. So this makes me actually suspect it's one of those movies where Disney actually gave Pixar full creative freedom actually, because this is not the type of message I would expect in a modern Disney movie, but that you very much should try your best to actually get along and cooperate with the people you disagree with. And I think this is a really great and important message for these days, especially for modern day America and some parts of Western Europe. Thankfully not Poland, like in Poland people still thankfully very much cooperate and collaborate with the people they disagree with, but I think especially in modern day America, the message that you should very much try your best to get along and cooperate with people you disagree with, I think is more important than ever. So I'm really thankful for that message. And once again, really glad that neither of the two messages overpowered the story, and in fact they were actually very well and nicely integrated in the story and really enhanced it. Overall, I think Hoppers is actually a perfect example of a movie of which there is more than meets the eye, and that very much first impression is very different from what the actual movie actually is, because when I only saw the poster, I thought, that seems like a generic kids movie about animals. And then, when I actually saw the trailers, the story seemed actually really absurd and silly. But when I actually watched the actual movie, yes, the story was kinda crazy actually, but I think it was actually in a good way, and I actually quite liked it, especially that once again, as I said, the second half is very different from the first half, but I think it's a good thing. But what's also amazing is that it all naturally feels like so organic and everything. Like, as I said, the first half comes across as pretty generic, quite interesting and entertaining, don't get the wrong idea, but generic, and then the second half, the story takes a really unexpected turn, and yet it all easily works. Plus, once again, also the characters are likable too. Once again, I ended up really enjoying Hoppers. Again, it's certainly not the best Pixar movie of this decade. That easily still goes to Inside Out 2, and then followed by Soul. But as I said, I think now this competes with Luca for the third place. I'll have to watch it a couple more times before I ultimately decide if I prefer Hoppers or Luca, but it's certainly much better than last year's Elio. Once again, not that it was very high bar to clear, but still happy about it. So once again, I was very pleasantly surprised by Hoppers, and that further makes me hope that Pixar still very much cares about telling quality stories for the families. It's just that Disney still has them on their leash, but when they actually give them creative freedom, this is what type of stuff Pixar can come up with. So once again, I do recommend Hoppers. This is very much the type of movie you should see with your kids, especially. So, thank you all of you for checking out this review. Press the like button, please subscribe to this channel, and I will talk to you very very soon in my travel vlog of ski trip to Val d'Isère. See you then.